Hi, so in this video we're going to be looking at radians. Now radians are just another form of measuring an angle. Now the definition of a radian comes from this: an arc of length r subtends an angle of 1 radian at the centre of a circle of radius r. So this is an arc of r and it's subtending an angle of 1 radian when our radius is r. And from this we get this definition that pi radians is 180 degrees. And actually I often remember that 2 pi radians, and you remember 2 pi r, comes from 360 degrees, and that's like all the way around the circle. So for me, I find that sometimes easier to remember than pi radians equals 180 degrees. Okay, so to convert to radians, if I want 1 radian, I divide by pi throughout on this. So I get 1 radian equals 180 over pi. So if I have p radians and I want to find out how many degrees that would be, I take my p and times by 180 and divide by pi. And then if I want to find out how to convert to from degrees to radians, I divide this by 180. So I know that 1 degree is pi of 180 degrees. And so if I had q degrees and I wanted to find out how many radians I had, I would do q times pi over 180 degrees. And I've just done 2 little quick examples here. So 20 degrees is 20, so 20 degrees is 20 times pi over 180 radians, so that's pi over 9 radians. And often with radians you just leave the pi in the answer. Okay, and if I had 4 radians, how many degrees that would be? I go up to this one, so I do my 4 times 180 over pi, put that in my calculator, and for degrees you normally work out to a decimal place. Okay, so here's some just important results. 360, as I said, was 2 pi, and I've done the little calculation here. 180 is 1 pi. 90, if 180 is pi radians, then 90 degrees would be pi over 2 radians. So you don't actually need to do the calculation in here. And again, if it's 30 degrees, 30 is 1/6, so it's pi over 6. 45 is 1/4 of 180, so it's pi over 4, and 60 is 1/3 of 180, so it's pi over 3. So if you can just remember this one, or this one, depending on which you think is easiest to remember, you can work back for those sort of standard results. Okay, now very important, when differentiating or integrating a trig function, you must measure angles in radians. And to change your calculator, you press the Shift, then the Setup button, and you'll get a little table of options. And on my table, the 4th option is to change to radians. Now you do need to then remember to change back to radians, and I think lots of people struggle in C3 that sometimes we're in degrees and sometimes we're in radians. But if you're differentiating or integrating, then you're always going to be dealing in radians. Okay, I hope that's helpful.